As you know, I've been criticizing Joe Biden for his almost disgusting, horrifying, freaking terrible ass, awful, just god awful, on guard, just terrible foreign policy decisions. And one policy decision that we need to talk about now is the Iran nuclear deal. And we're going to be talking about Iran this week, how he's warmongering Iran and Afghanistan. And there's a lot of war policy coming up this week on the podcast. But and on the channel, whatever you want to call it. So Biden is not going to rejoin the Iran nuclear deal. And I believe that he's missing the biggest foreign policy layup, as Secular Talk calls it, Carl Kalinske. But I think he's making the biggest mistake and not getting the easiest foreign policy peace deal ever. And I'm just mad about this. So look here, look what this says. President Joe Biden's administration has rejected an Iranian offer to coordinate both countries' return to their nuclear deal commitments, arguing that the Islamic Republic must first reinstate the restrictions suspended in response to the U.S. having abandoned the agreement entirely nearly 3 years ago. I mean, how dumb can Joe Biden be? Seriously, this God, he's so dumb. Oh, hold on, let's continue. Right, because this gets even worse. The agreement, officially known as the JCPOA, was reached in 2015 by the U.S. and Iran alongside China, France, Germany, Russia, and the United Kingdom. Former President Donald Trump left the accord in 2018. I thought he did it in 2017, but I guess not. Facing severe U.S. sanctions, Iran has begun enriching uranium beyond designated caps, something the Biden administration says is blocking a U.S. return to the deal. Let me just first remind you that Donald Trump pulled out of the deal. Donald Trump pulled out of the deal. Iran still followed it. And then they realized, oh, well, if the U.S. is going to pull out, well, we're just going to stop doing what they told us to do. And we're going to start enriching uranium. That's what we're going to do. They didn't break the deal. The U.S. broke the deal. Yes, under a Republican president, but it doesn't matter. Whatever the U.S. president does affects everybody in the U.S., whether it was Biden or whether it was a Democrat or a Republican who pulled out. Now take a look at this. This is further expanded on by Ned Price at the State Department. And he says, if Iran comes back into full compliance with its obligations under the JCPOA, the United States would do the same. State Department spokesperson Ned Price told reporters at a press conference Tuesday. I'm just going to tell you why this is stupid. So, like I just said, the U.S. is the one who pulled out of the deal. And the thing is that, as I've discussed in another video, and I discussed it with Naeem Abulhal on the podcast last week, if you haven't seen those videos, you probably should check it out. When we joined that deal, the U.S. joined that deal in 2015, Iran had stopped enriching uranium. It had gotten rid of most of their resources and materials to make the nuclear bombs and having nuclear energy. It got rid of them, and it was following the deal to the T. But then the U.S. comes in and says, no, we're going to rip apart our deal. And Hassan Rouhani is a moderate, the president of Iran. And you have the Revolutionary Guard and the Ayatollah, who are the hardliners, which are the Republicans of Iraq, right? Who said, don't do a deal with the devil. Don't do a deal with the devil, because they're just going to pull out of the deal. You're going to go through with the deal, and they're just going to leave you out to dry. And what happened? We left them out to dry. We pulled out of the deal. So, this is bad for a couple of reasons. You can't just ask them to give up their uranium that they've been enriching since the U.S. pulled out of the deal, as if they pulled out of the deal, as if they violated the deal. They didn't violate the deal. The U.S. violated the deal. You can't You can't just, well, we put out of the deal, so you need to do better, Iran. No, it's on us. It's on the U.S. to be incumbent to say, hey, you know what? We effed up. We are the problem here. But no, Joe Biden's not doing any of that. And here's the thing. Iran kept going with the deal with Europe, Russia, China, and all the rest of them. They kept going. They did. They didn't stop. And what did the U.S. do? We sanctioned the shit out of them. We sanctioned the hell out of them. We sanctioned food. We sanctioned medicine. In fact, the International Criminal Court said, no, you can't do that. And Trump said, no, we're going to pull the hell out of the International Criminal Court. And guess what? We've caused death, starvation, famine, and economic destruction. And this is why Hassan Rouhani wants to get back in the deal for two reasons, right? The first one I'll go over right now is he wants to create the economic prosperity in his country that he needs to, because the U.S. has been so bullish and so hawkish under the last administration of neocons and just war hawks and war criminals. And now you got another war hawk administration with Antony Blinken, Michelle Flournoy, Lloyd Austin, and Joe Biden, who are saying, no, we don't want to get back in the deal because they're not giving up what they did. You dumbasses, that's not how you do the deal. What Joe Biden should do is call up Iran and say, look, here's the deal, all right? I'm in. We're going to rejoin the deal, all right? You got 6 months to join it. And look, let's just scratch whatever happened in the past. We will join the deal. We're not going to hold you accountable. Just get rid of the uranium. Do something else with it, but you cannot make your nuclear weapons. Do something. But no, Joe Biden's sitting here like, oh, we're not going to join because they're enriching uranium. We put out of the deal, goddammit! It wasn't them. It wasn't them. So, now there's another reason that Hassan Rouhani needs to get on this, like now. There's a limited, narrow timescape to do this. And Naeem Abulhawa explained this perfectly last week on the podcast, which was, well, the problem is the hardliners told Rouhani not to join the deal. They said, hey, because they're like, don't join the deal. Because what we basically proved was, hey, whatever we sign is not worth the paper it's on. Like, it's not worth the paperwork we signed it on. We signed it on, right? We signed on to, right? Our word means nothing. Our word is garbage. That's what Donald Trump made us look like. And so what is the Ayatollah and the Revolutionary Guard going to do? Hey, don't be joining that deal. What's wrong with you? And then what's going to happen? The general elections are coming up for the Iranian presidency. And the Revolutionary Guard and the rest of the hardliners and the Ayatollah are going to say, see, I told Rouhani, we told you, don't do it. Don't do it. They're going to break the deal. And what did you do? You joined the deal. They broke it. They violated it. They got out. And now our economy is in distress. Too many people have died. Too many sanctions from the U.S. See, we were right. They were wrong. Vote for us. And then what's going to happen? Well, we had a bunch of hardliners here in the U.S. and they almost started a war in Qatar. They tried to invade them because they wouldn't fund 666 Fifth Avenue, Jared Kushner's business. That's how corrupt the Trump administration was. Rex Tillerson stopped that. They tried to overthrow Venezuela to recognize Juan Guaido as the president, and Biden wants to do that too. They bombed Iran, Qasem Soleimani. They killed him. So, we know what having hardliners is like. Now imagine having Biden's administration and a bunch of hardliners in Iraq who are, puff out your chest, I'm so tough. That's what they are, is puff out your chest, be as loud, be as like mad dog each other kind of thing, puff out your chest and be a bad boy. And that's what the hardliners want. That's what they are. That's who they are. So again, we could be in a whole lot of trouble. Okay, we could be in a whole lot of trouble. Now, people are saying that there may not be a ground invasion of Iraq. Oh, I'm sorry. We already did that. Of Iran. There may not be a ground invasion of Iran under Joe Biden because they almost did it under the Trump administration. I argue, don't push them. Don't go against Biden. Don't argue that, because Biden's a war criminal himself. He voted for Iraq and Afghanistan, and he got us into 5 extra wars, or 6 with under Obama. Don't test him. He'll probably do it. So this is this is Joe Biden not joining the Iran nuclear deal, and he's already warmongering. And biggest foreign policy layup he could have had. And by the way, the American people would have loved it, because they would have said, oh, at least we have peace in the region. We're heading more towards peace. Let's do this with other countries too. And then Joe Biden supporters would have been like, see, Jason, we were right about the Iran nuclear deal. Well, now all of you are wrong. Joe Biden's a cuck. He's a freaking war criminal. And all the advisors around him, all they want is war, which is why we're not going to get back in to the Iran nuclear deal.